Hey, Jonathan and Brad, really love what you guys are doing. So my question is, last year I started a small side hustle teaching people computer programming, and I've gotten a handful of students, but I recently started a Facebook page, and I was wondering if you guys had advice for finding new clients for your online business. This is something I've been struggling with a bit lately. Thank you guys so much.
Awesome. Okay. Well, first of all, congratulations on doing that. And it actually really does build your talent stack. Just trying it, like identifying that you have a skill and then pivoting to how can I teach others is gives you an unbelievable opportunity to develop a bunch of tertiary skills and become more well-rounded throughout the process. So, Brad, I have a few thoughts that I'll just start to map out because I spend a lot of time
Yeah,
just kind
go
of
for it,
thinking about this space. If you want me to run with this, and then just feel free to hop
please.
in or add anything to any of this. You are a business owner, and as a business owner, you have the same needs as every other business owner. You need to one, you have a product that you've created. In this case, it's an information based product, and then now you need to figure out how are you going to deliver that product to your customers and make sure that they are getting, having a great experience. What's a customer experience? You need to find new customers. So that's marketing. That sounds like that's where you're getting stuck right now. Let's see. And then and then figure out how can I scale and grow? Is this my only product? How do I take this platform that I have? And there's like probably a couple other steps, and I didn't have time to like take some notes ahead of time, but we'll just stay inside this tiny little lane right now. So your first part of your talent stack is what have you created? Is it good? Are you looking around to see, like in your niche and another niche, what is the approach that other people are taking to deliver digital content? And then constantly making your actual product better. But you can always be in this pre-production stage. And what I love about what you've actually said is you've actually gone to market. You are now actively trying to sell it. So now we kind of have this twofold strategy. What, are people finding it at all? Do they even know that it exists? And then two, once they find that it exists, do they buy? Those are probably the two things. And so there's some sort of percentage of if I can, am I able to get 50 people to find this product? If the answer is I have zero people that are even aware of it, all right, this is an awareness problem, and we're going to spend our time. First of all, how do we increase awareness? And we'll talk about strategy in a second. If people are finding it, but they're not buying, then we need to figure out what the separation is between them discovering the product and then deciding that this product is worth some exchange of value, some monetary price. And sometimes there's some steps in between them discovering the product and then buying, because you might need to give them an inside look to appreciate the actual value of what you're offering. Um, and when you've done a great job doing that, there's also the approach that maybe the people that purchase the product can in some way help you find additional people who might like it, right? Brad, does that spark anything? Or you want me to keep going here?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely sparks something. You're more than welcome to keep going. But yeah, I mean, for me, I agree. I think the first step is anybody buying, right? Like that, you need to get people to take that credit card out of their wallets and actually purchase to see if you have a business. And then I think there are lots of ways to go about, as he's asking about scaling, right? And like finding those new clients. I think for me, and Jonathan, I'd be curious to hear your starting point since you are actually helping people start businesses, which is really kind of cool. But for me, like I would, and maybe this is my own bias and my own personality, like I would start making connections. I think that to me is where I've found success in my own life. And I don't think that this is like a prerequisite or necessary, but I would start finding colleagues, friends in a niche, in that same niche or something somewhat related, and try to get, potentially in front of their audience, but not do it obviously. This is a long-term play. This is not, hey, this is something spammy, right? Like people can read through when you're being disingenuous, right? Or you're really after something, some ulterior motive. So I think what like I try to play the long game just in life, in life success, which is treat people really well, try to make relationships, connections. Obviously a lot of FI is about long-term thinking, just generally speaking. So uh, if you're in it for a quick buck, people are going to kind of see through you really quickly. So I guess, Jonathan, that's probably not a very precise answer, but I think it's an important kind of piece of background.
All right. So you landed on and because there's different ways that we can tackle this. One is what's your network? Right? If you don't have a network, then you're kind of limited because this is one of those you kind of want to have built ahead of time before you need something. But you can start planting the seeds now. What does that look like? Well, get involved in the niche that you are in. Start answering questions on Quora. Did I say that right? Quora. It's not a platform that I
I
spend a
think
lot
so.
of
Yeah.
time on. Close enough. So, like for instance, you could even do something where if you know there's a question that is in some way or capacity answered either by your course or somehow related to your course, you can actually create the question that you know people are asking on Quora, and then you can be the subject matter expert that answers that question, and then you can point them to your website or to your profile, et cetera. That's one particular way of doing this. Another is just to start establishing yourself as a subject matter expert in your chosen niche and looking for other people and other platforms that are talking about this or around this and would benefit from being aware of this. So this actually goes to Brad's affiliate piece. The third part of this is actually, do you actually have an external brand? I see a lot of people that they just build like one thing on like a Udemy or a Skillshare or Coursera, but then they never do anything else with it. And they're kind of limited by whether or not the algorithm of those platforms are actually pushing traffic to that particular course. Like conversely, if you create an external brand around that, which might look like a blog where you write articles occasionally about this content, it might be a podcast where you talk generally about what's going on in the space, attracting people who are not necessarily, they don't know necessarily that they're interested in this course at the moment, but they're generally interested in the topics that surround a course like this, or you create a YouTube channel. That's one, establishing you as a subject matter expert, and two, because you're probably answering some form of question, you are now people that find that question have an easier way to go deeper. So you could pick, depending on the niche that you're in, you could pick any one of those three. That might be a place to start as well. And then the final one that comes to mind, just kind of because it's computer programming, would also be LinkedIn. LinkedIn is pretty hot for this type of thing, and that would be also just creating yourself as a subject matter expert there. So that's the subject matter expert approach. The next layer on top of this, and the cool thing is both what Brad said, the network aspect, and then what I just said, start creating your external brand. Those pair really nicely. A lot easier to then lean on your network when you're now got external content that the world can see that establishes you as a subject matter expert. Now you potentially have a way to get this in front of new people, but are you helping demonstrate the value? A lot of people just see a sales page, but they don't know what it is. If I show you a $100 or $200 computer course, you're like, well, it's $200. I'm trying to work on my savings rate this month. Like, no, there's no perceived exchange of value. They just see computer course, $200, rather of the $200. Conversely, if you're thinking about, all right, why would someone pay $200? Like, we're not doing this out of charity. No one's buying or making a decision to purchase out of charity. There's a perceived ROI that they're gaining from your course. This course will help you achieve this transformation. This course will help you do this. In the case of the Talent Stacker program that we talk about, it's just a very clear ROI. You go through this Talent Stacker program. It's a job placement program. At the end of it, you're in a job making $60,000 to $80,000 a year. There's a very clear ROI. And so people are willing to pay a relatively significant amount of money to go into a program like this because they see the ROI that's there. It's not charity. They're not doing it just to support the Talent Stacker business. They're doing it because they want that transformation, that ROI on the other side. So what is that? Are you communicating that on your sales page? And then finally, are you delivering the results? So you have awareness, you have people buying the product. Now they're actually in the course. And are you delivering a great experience? And are you identifying what made it a great experience? So this is the actual process of getting feedback, of getting testimonials. And then once you go through this is next. All right, those people got great value. They saw the value. They took the chance. They bought the product. And now those people are uniquely positioned to let others know that, hey, this was actually worth it. A lot of stuff out there is not worth it. This is the real deal. So this is kind of how you look at the framework. Doesn't really matter the business. We're talking about a computer program. I think I used the word computer program one time. It's literally every business. How do you parse where is your pain point and figure out how to deliver a better proposition at that particular place that you're in? And the good news is once that's done, you're never done. That's being in the world of entrepreneurship is identifying this is the matrix that we're in. And I'm going to focus on this section right now. And then we're going to come over here. We're going to pivot. And now once all the pieces have been upgraded, we're going to go back and do it again. Right. And that is what I love. I love about entrepreneurship and I love about creating digital products.
Yeah. And I think that constant iteration, I think that's a big part of this, right? So you get something out in the world and then you just keep testing. I think that's one of the coolest things that I've learned about online business is that you can constantly be changing. You might think you have some brilliant idea, right? but the proof ultimately is in the pudding, or really the proof is in the math. You prove out, hey, does this work? Or do I need to tweak it? And there's software that allows you to A/B split test things, which is just so much fun. You'd be shocked at how a tiny little change can make a massive, massive difference in your ultimately your conversions and your bottom line. So it's cool. And yeah, Jonathan, last word, but we got to kind of move on here. But I would say the testimonials that you mentioned, that is critical. I mean, finding people, and that might mean giving your course away for free or for highly discounted at first to get those true raving fans. You find those people who just love you and want to go to bat for you and want to tell their story. That's really invaluable. So I think there's something to that, of finding those people, those early people who just want to scream from the rooftops how amazing your product is.